Hi guys, it's Lori again. Or if you're new, hi, I'm Lori. I just thought I would do a quick, hopefully quick video just telling you a little bit about my background. I literally just wrote it. I just wrote a bunch of notes and, just to get to the point and my childhood up till I graduated college. So first of all, my name is Lori and I'm 45 years old and I'm in chronic pain around the clock. Pelvic, low back, and spine. So let's talk about me. And I hate this, by the way. And I'm going to be looking at my notes too. Okay, so I grew up with 4 other siblings. I had 3 sisters and a brother. I'm the youngest of all 5. So all 4 of them are at least 6 years to 11 years older than me. My one sister, I have 3 sisters. My one sister is 11 years older than me, and then the sister next to me, next to the youngest, she's 6 years older than me. So they're all in 50s right now, and I'm 45. So I grew up with them, and you can imagine, me. They were all close in age, and then you have me, 6 years younger. That's a pretty big age difference, especially when you see your sisters getting all dressed up with makeup and going places, and you start feeling jealous. And I remember going to their closet wanting to wear their clothes. Even though I was too little to fit into them, I felt jealous because I had 3 sisters and they always either did something together or they were out. Okay, sorry about the sliding, guys. I'm trying to make it too bright. So yeah, I felt jealous. On the flip side, I was the baby of the family. Okay, so I got to wear, sorry. I was a baby of the family, so I got to spend more time with Mom. And so I love that. I had an amazing mother. And anything we did, I enjoyed it. Okay. We were dirt poor growing up. Let me just say that too. My mother had 5 children. My biological dad died when I was 3, so I don't have any memory of him. But even when he was alive, he didn't do much to help or in any of our lives. So my mom did meet my stepfather when I think I was just a baby, okay? They never got married. But I grew up calling him Dad, okay? I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a stepdad was versus a regular dad. And so, but I do remember thinking, why do I call him Dad? But all my siblings call him by his first name. So that was the part that I never understood, and I never ever questioned my mother, like why do I call him Dad but nobody else does? And I think it could have been favoritism. I mean, he raised me from a baby with my mother, so he was there just like my mother was. The problem with him is he was an alcoholic. He wasn't a mean alcoholic, but he liked to drink. He stopped a few times, but there were times where my mother would say, get out of the house. She would not tolerate that. She didn't drink at all, and she wasn't going to have him around, So he battled with that for years. So we were dirt poor, but I never seen things like that. I was a child, and little things meant anything, like going to the Goodwill or the thrift, People were embarrassed back then. Now it's a cool thing. But we would go in there, and I would pick out 2 books, probably 10 cents each, thinking this is the best thing, because I loved reading, I loved learning. And I would say, Mom, can I get these? She'd say, yeah. So just doing things together, walking. My mother never drove, never had a license. We didn't have a car. So just walking to go do things like that was just, to me, the best. And my mother never disappointed us, okay, for any holidays. Somehow, she always gave us amazing birthdays, amazing Christmases, all the holidays. She cooked and did the same thing every other parent would. And she always made sure we get 3 meals a day. I kid you not, this woman cooked 3 meals a day. And not just easy things like kids eat these days. I'm talking about peeling potatoes almost every other day and making sure we had our vegetables. And I would eat everything my mother gave me. Looking back, there's a lot of stuff I wish I didn't eat that I would never eat now. But yeah, so she's amazing. Okay, so I was gonna say when I learned we were poor, which I didn't realize at the time. Please ignore these little water breaks because I have extreme dry mouth. So when I realized we were poor, I vowed to make something of myself one day, and there wasn't any negativity towards my mom. It was just like, and it had a lot to do with schooling, which I'm about to get into. But I told myself I don't know what age I'll be, but I'm gonna do something with myself. Everybody would always call me smart, and I guess I would just smile. But I loved school. I loved to learn, and numbers. I love numbers. I love figuring things out, questions and problems. Okay, so I skipped kindergarten. I don't know why my mom didn't put me in kindergarten, but back then you didn't have to. That's how old I am. Okay, so first grade through second grade, I went to one elementary school, and then we moved. Okay, and then third, fourth, and fifth was the new school in the other house we lived in. And the reason why we moved is because we had a house fire. And that's another thing I was gonna incorporate into another video, but spoiler alert, we had a fire on Christmas Eve when I was 5 years old. And so I'll get into the gist of that in another video. Be looking out for that title. I can't make this stuff up. So we had the house fire, and then once we stayed with my mother's, with Aunt Ida and Uncle Frank. We love them, okay? So if you hear those names, they're amazing people. So we stayed with them, and then we got on our feet again. We got another house. And so I went third, fourth, and fifth in that new elementary school. And then I went to middle school for 3 years, and then high school. Starting in third grade, and this is hard to talk about, and I'm not even in the worst part. Starting in third grade, I started getting bullied a lot. One thing about me is I don't like confrontations. If I do get mad, you're gonna know, but I don't like confrontations, and I don't know why I was bullied so much. I think because I was a nerd, maybe it was my glasses. I got teased. I had kids make me do their homework. I was so scared, like I was so afraid that I was gonna have to get into a fight, a physical fight. This lasted until high school. So I would say first and second grade, nothing. Kids are still young and naive. And then, third, fourth, and fifth are getting older, and I was an easy target. I got teased, and I never defended myself, so it continued. If I could now, I'd go back and tell myself, defend yourself. Middle school, sixth, seventh, and eighth, same thing. I had some friends. I have some friends from high school that are my Facebook friends, and not elementary, but I had a girl that was my best friend when I was growing up. But we went to different schools, and I still talk to her through Facebook. She lives in Florida. Anyways, I got bullied pretty bad. Okay, and so after high school, I was a nerd. I don't know. I was a nerd, and I just wanted to learn. Um, I think that was very detrimental, or that's the wrong word. It drove me to want to succeed in life. That and growing up poor. Again, it wasn't my mother's fault. That's just the circumstances. But it drove me to want to succeed. I knew even more, like, I don't know when I'm gonna start this journey or whatever, but I'm gonna succeed. Okay? And that's my payback. Even if I never see, I don't even remember names or faces. Okay, so I was at 18. At 18, I moved out. My mother was sad about it. I moved out into a place. Wasn't that far, but driving. We didn't drive. I didn't drive. I didn't have a car for a while, so I worked at this salon for about 2 years. So I would say I was 19. I worked there about 2 years. Okay. Sorry. Before I quit working at the salon, I found out my mother passed away. She was 48. I was 19. A naive 19-year-old, not like now. I was still naive. I got a call at the salon I was working at, and my brother and stepdad were hysterically crying. And I just kept saying, what's wrong? I said, you need to get the mummy's house, get the mummy's house. And I didn't have a car or money for a bus, so I asked a guy at a local, right next store or somewhere, if he could drive me. I didn't even know him. I just said, can you please drive me to my mother's house? It's not that far. I was still trying to process. I couldn't even believe it. And then when we pulled up to my mother's place, I'll never forget the sight of the coroner vehicle sitting there. I'm so sorry. That was confirmation. I knew that I couldn't say goodbye to her. I instantly had regrets that I didn't see her enough. I didn't call her enough. So when I seen the coroner, I knew she was gone. I went up to the 3rd floor where she lived at, a 3rd floor apartment. And she was on her bedroom floor. And I guess it was ambulance, coroner, or whoever. They were about to take her away. So I did at least get to say goodbye in a strange way. Not the way I would want to. I don't think there is a way I'd want to. I often wonder, would it be easier to see your parent die in a hospital or know they're going to die, or unexpectedly? I took her for granted, you know? But I do want to say, and this is very important, my mother was a chronic smoker. She smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day for 30 years. And not just that, she had diabetes. So those mixed together, her time was up. You know, I'll never forget just hearing my mother cough all the time. And I disregarded it, you know? I felt bad for her. And sometimes we felt embarrassed. The kids felt embarrassed if we were on the phone or talking to our friends and our mom was in the background coughing. And I just can't believe that I could be that cruel to be embarrassed about that when she couldn't help it. Yes, she was a smoker. Yes, you know, she had diabetes. She didn't get out enough to get exercise. She just smoked, you know, but she loved her kids. She was the best mother I could have. And it's been so hard. It's been so hard, even to this day, with 3 kids almost all grown, knowing that they never got to meet their grandmother, because I'm the only child in the family whose kids were born after she died. My oldest son, Zach, is 23. I had him in the year 2000, so it's tough, okay? It's tough. I went through a lot just to that point, and there was many things left to come. But I was 19. Okay, try to switch this up a little bit. I'm reading my notes. When I turned 20, I was sleeping on my stepfather's floor. I didn't know what to do. I was lost. I didn't have money, a car, and all my other siblings were older, doing their own thing. So I was just like left, not knowing what to do. At first I stayed at my mother's apartment. Then I would sleep in her bed, because I remembered my last memory with her. The last time I physically was there, I was on her bed next to her, and I would say, Mom, can you rub my arm? That was something that she did that soothed me, and she would do it, you know, no matter how much pain she was in, because the smoking and the diabetes, terrible, but she never complained. My mother she was my rock, you know. So anyways, at age 20, I decided I needed to stop feeling sorry for myself. After I stayed at her place, I had to go on my stepfather's floor. I had to leave there. I needed to figure out what I was going to do. I needed to be committed, though. If I was going to do it, I needed to be committed. Because, you know, this is it. There's nobody to back me up. I mean, my stepdad was still drinking, but I didn't have my mother. If somebody would have told me at that age, when I was a teenager, the things that were yet to come, my mother's death, and everything else, because I have a long story, but we all do. In this video, I know it's not related to chronic pain, but it is in a way. It's still my beginning, you know, and how I got to where I'm at. I'm trying to minimize this video, guys. I am. So I started a program, for a 2-year program for accounting. I always loved numbers, and I was so anxious. I was so anxious to learn. Like, I was one of those bookworms that loved it and paid attention to everything of the teacher. So I knew it was perfect for me, and I knew if I signed up, I was going to commit 100%. So I ended up graduating with high honors and perfect attendance, and I was proud of that. It was a 2-year program, 4 days a week, long days. It was like going to work 4 days a week, but it was nice to have Friday off. So I graduated with high honors and perfect attendance. I doubted myself a lot before, you know, even while getting A on my papers, I still doubted myself because of bullying that I experienced throughout the years, and even one of my sisters was not very nice to me. And she really, not just the people that bullied me, but she really lowered my self-esteem. A lot of people, just for some reason, and I never said anything wrong or did anything wrong to anybody. I just wanted to mind my business. And I don't know if she was jealous because I was the youngest, but she just did a lot of things to torture me. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm almost done with this. So at my graduation, my Aunt Ida, you're gonna hear about her. I love her. And Uncle Frank, they were at my graduation, you know. And after the ceremony was over and everybody got their diplomas, my Aunt Ida, she whispered in my ear, "Your mother is so proud of you right now." And this is happy tears because that just meant everything to me. It meant she knew I was hurting inside, even though I didn't expose it. Because I'm really good at keeping pain, physical and emotional pain, except for right now. Oh goodness. What I will say to end this though is, when I moved out at 18, I don't know if it was God. I'm not going to get into religion. I do believe in God, but I don't have a specific church or anything I go to. But it was either God or my mom that sort of guided me to move out. Yes, I was young, but when I look back and think, what if I lived with her when this happened? Would I have wanted to be there when she passed away? Or, I don't know. But I feel like I was guided to move out so that I could prepare myself to be an adult and to have a future. It's almost like my mother knew, like, I have to let her go. She's the youngest, but I have to let her go because she needs to learn how to be independent, you know, because who knows what's going to happen to me. That's in my head, I think that. Well, all I can say is, if you watch this whole video, everybody has somebody in their life that they lose. What I always say is just appreciate your parents. I mean, unless they're shitty parents, excuse my language. Appreciate your mom, your dad. Appreciate people that you're close with. You know, people always say I love you all the time. Even if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just appreciate somebody. Be there for them. Especially if they're a close family or a parent, you know. To this day, I still can't believe my mother's not here. And it's been 20-some years. I was 19, now I'm 45. And I never thought this would be my life. And again, you're going to hear so much more, but I wanted you to have a little background.